frame?
Oh, yeah, he's fine. He absolutely could have gone back and played, just bruised it a little bit. Said he had great range of motion, strength. He was all good. So no issues, just precautionary.
It was the shoulder.
Yeah, it was one of them. I mean, he's had both, right? So it's nothing new for him. He's had him a little bit in the past. It's not anything that if he didn't come back out, he'd be really hurt. So he was completely cleared to play.
Scary.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, anytime your guys go down, it's never fun to see, and we've been really blessed and fortunate, so happens.
What did you think about today's practice? I guess the defense won on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they did. They played. I thought their energy was better than the offense's. Just making plays, had a little juice. Yeah, even if they maybe an offense made a play, I thought the defense just kept responding, whereas maybe the offense just kind of maybe let the defense set the tone a little bit today in a lot of ways.
Is it still tough for you to swallow that?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so mad.
Yeah.
You're so mad.
Yeah.
Coach Camp gonna let you hear about it.
He will. Yeah, he will. No, they've done a good job, man. It's always good to have back and forth, and I think the defense has really improved. I think over the last week, we see a solid improvement out of these guys.
It seems like you guys have had a steady increase in competition. It got a little chippy today. Is that something that you want to see at this point, obviously, and then moving into training camp?
Yeah, I mean, we have been. I mean, it's been really calm out here, which is good. And also, when you do amp up the competition, there's going to be a little bit of chipping, and that's the first actual disagreement our players have had out on the grass. So, it's not. I'm not promoting it. It's just it's going to happen in football, and those guys they know once we walk off the grass, we're one team, and that's just the way it works.
I wanted to ask you about the phrase "celebrate with your teammates." I've heard that a lot out there. Just why is that so important at this time of year?
Just training, right? Just training to. It's not easy, right? This game, this league is not easy. It's not easy to win. It's not easy to score. It's not easy to defend. And so when we do things right, it's going to have to become second nature. And we don't want to be excessive, but also we want to make sure that we're celebrating the moments that ultimately are going to help lead us to success and big plays and having energy and juice. It doesn't have to be forced, but also you want to be able to celebrate it when it does occur and not just act like, we just did something really ordinary, right? It's not ordinary to win in this league. It's hard. And so we want to be able to have the right mindset when playing.
How much do fans help that energy?
Yeah, it was great to have the fans. I really appreciate them being out here today, taking the time, throughout this time, knowing that it's not probably the most entertaining all that much, but really felt them. The players I know fed off that, especially some of the younger guys feeling some of that support as being rookies. Never having a practice quite like this with fans here. So really appreciate everybody coming out this week, today especially.
Was there a point where, after you took over, that you thought this defense is a lot closer than it's shown maybe the last 4 years? They've got talent, they just need maybe the right step?
Yeah, I think that those guys have had success, right? They've had success. They've had good defenses in the past in some ways, whether it be in the rush or playing some more vision zone, getting their hands on balls, or being top 10 in the NFL in turnovers X amount of years ago, and really just putting it all together. And just tweaking maybe a few things that ultimately, Camp wanted to do and felt like was necessary for us to win games. And it's really hard to simulate, are we a good tackling team right now, right? Are we good with block destruction? You can only practice that so much in this time. And so ultimately, so much of playing defense is just not staying blocked and what you're strain and finish and mentalities like. And yeah, we're trying to train it, but you can't quite possibly simulate it right now.
Travis's contract, how close is that? I mean, he's the only top 15 pick unsigned. You see Cincinnati, what's going on up there? Is there any of that?
No, I'm just let James handle that one. He's handling all that with the personnel department.
Rookie Deion Singer seems to be showing us a highlight reel for him.
Yeah.
What do you see out of him?
Yeah, he's Jed Fish coached him actually as well in college, and when we signed him, said really positive things about him in terms of what you're seeing, the body control, the strong hands. He actually does a lot like a pro already in a lot of ways. He's got a good mentality and demeanor. We just got to continue to add weight and, put a little bit more size on him as he goes, but been pleased with him so far.
What have you seen out of Mason Smith so far in his growth?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big one for us. We need him to take a huge step this year. I think he's done a great job when you talk about the off-season program in the weight room, in the conditioning, his mentality with the work ethic, and then coming out here and making it hard, right? You ultimately, when you're 325 pounds and you can move and you've got long arms, man, and he's got the want to. I've seen that so far. Ultimately, it's got to continue to translate, and I think he will. I think the coaches have done a great job getting him going, and he's dedicated himself to it so far.
How is Tootin doing in terms of retention from classroom to the field?
Yeah, I think it's really hard for a lot of the running backs. It's a huge jump from protection systems in college to the pros, and that's usually where you see some of the tempo slow down for them, like playing slower, thinking more, is when pass pro starts to kind of bog the mind. And then, okay, you've got, let's call it 5 different tracks of footworks from a running back that you need to learn, and we're trying to teach the why, so sometimes that can slow it back down in this phase, especially when it's tag and it's awkward. People are in awkward positions when you're trying to stick your foot in the ground and get vertical to run through them. You can't. It's awkward. So I think he's done a solid job. I know he needs a lot more work, which all those guys do. Yeah, I think obviously the footwork, the athleticism, the ability to pass pro on an edge, and when Anton wants to go, he can go, and just consistently doing it on a day in, day out basis. Smart. He understands the why of what we're trying to get accomplished, but as much as he can continue to rise going into year 3, and as a first-round pick, to take a huge step this year and be a lockdown tackle for us.
One more day of minicamp before you guys dismiss for summer. Just what's going to be the key to getting out here satisfied?
Yeah, I think tomorrow we tone it back down, which has been planned for weeks now, in terms of go back to 7-on-7. Just do one team period, and really it'll be about an hour practice, hour and 15-minute practice, and really try to get some of these young guys work, get some of the rookies and developmentals, get a little bit more work, and just make sure we leave here healthy, but also with a solid understanding of how to get lined up, the motions, the shifts. I want tomorrow to be cleaner than today was, and I'll feel a little bit better walking off the field.
It seems like Buster Brown's making a play
Yeah.
almost every practice. What is it about him that you guys like?
He's got strong FBI, man. Like, the game makes sense to him. I think him playing in this little bit more vision on the quarterback zone is a strength of his, where he understands some concepts, he understands splits, recognition, what type of concepts are going to maybe start to occur when 2 goes vertical or 2 goes under. Just, he has a feel. He's not afraid to play with his hands at the line of scrimmage when he is playing some man-match coverage, and he just got to continue to be consistent. But I think he, like you mentioned, he's had a good camp.
What was your biggest takeaway today?
I think the defense pass rush you felt a little bit more today, as well as yesterday, but I think it elevated a little bit more today. And then also just, tips, overthrows, guys getting hands on the ball, turnovers, creating. We almost lost one after we picked it off. The big D lineman nose drop got us. But it was just good to see, you had a D lineman pick a ball off, linebacker, safety, whatever it was. You just got a lot of different guys touching the ball on defense. And ultimately, now on the flip side, offensively, we've got to come back and take care of the football better. And, if we don't hurt ourselves, usually good things happen.
Okay, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
What's been the most enjoyable part of being a Jaguar so far?
Just been able to come out here and just play with my brothers.
How's it been just for you to be able to actually get on the field, play defense, play offense, being able to do that during this time?
It's been great. I've been doing it my whole life, so nothing changed.
But just learning in an NFL way, just the differences maybe, or how it's been for you, just adapting.
Not really no difference. Just got to stay in the playbook and apply it to the field.
That Madden rating, 76.
Hey, that's a Madden rating. That's it.
Can you get it? How quickly can you get that thing up?
I'm not worried about Madden rating right now. I'm worried about playing football.
What was that fun to go with Ocho Cinco to go back and forth on that thing?
Yeah, it's always fun talking to Ocho.
Could he? You really think he could? Is there any chance that you couldn't cover, or that you couldn't cover him for?
I believe in myself, so I know I'll be able to cover him.
How has it been just covering Brian Thomas? Just what have you been able to see from him and maybe learn a little bit from him?
Just seeing how he go about his work. He helped me out a lot. Like I said the last time I came up here and talked. So just being able to take things from him and the Money game and Parker game is just something that I can apply to my game and make me better.
And then for Brian specifically, what sort of makes him how good he is? Like,
He's very smooth, no tendencies, and he got great hands.
Is that, I don't want to say difficult, but just while you're trying to adapt to being an NFL player, how has that been, just letting your personality shine through?
It's been very easy for me. The guys come in, and I bring the juice every day. I always got a smile on my face, making everyone laugh when I get the chance. So we just been fun, having fun, and just being kids out here just loving and living our dream.
We've talked about you working with Coach Bennett. What's been working with Coach Miles so far?
Just going to work. That's all it's been. Me and him going to work, Coach Bennett going to work. We've just been doing our thing.
Getting those periods where you, him, and Coach Perkins can kind of just walk through things together, how big can that be for you?
It's very big because, I get a short little walkthrough before the walkthrough, so it get my mental right and ready to go.
To see all of these fans here, like you guys are just doing typical drills and they're cheering for you every time you touch the ball. What's that experience like?
It's very, very great experience. I know I can't let them down. I got to go out there and work, and I know they got my back.
Does buying a house make it feel more home than maybe before?
I ain't buy a house yet.
Okay. Did you look at 16 in one day? Is that?
Nah, it's not true.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, Sean.
No problem.
Go ahead. I think the final tally was 16-9 you guys' way. Just those competitive periods, how much more does that draw out?
It's a lot of fun, I think, for the guys. I think it's good for us as coaches too, just being in a competitive environment, calling it, which, Liam does an unbelievable job with that, creating competitive situations every day, and our guys have done a really good job responding to that, just the culture of the team, everything about competing. So Liam's created that environment in practice every day, which is awesome.
Seeing Travis on defense, just what have you seen from him?
Yeah, he just has, a wealth of talent, and he's a super intelligent guy, which makes it really fun. He's really quick on the uptake. So he's a fun guy to coach, to be around. I know his position coaches love coaching him, and it's pretty impressive to watch a guy do that. I think it's cool. It's been really fun. But I also think the coaches, Coach Miles, Drew Lascari, Anthony Perkins, and Bill Sheridan, those guys have done a great job of just getting him up to speed on everything, and he's done a great job responding to it.
Have you been surprised maybe by how well he's been able to respond, just going into offensive meetings and defensive, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just kind of my point before, I think it really takes a sharp person to do that, you know what I mean? He's just blessed with a lot of intelligence and maturity, so it's impressive to watch, for sure.
Tyson Campbell, how impressive has this offseason been to you so far?
I really am really fired up about everything he's done this offseason, because he's competed so hard in the practices. He's fighting for every rep, whether it's at the top of the route, on the line of scrimmage, in the break area. He's just really trying to play with a lot of detail, and I think a lot of that shows up. If you were to sit and watch his individual, he's competing his tail off an individual. You know what I mean? So it's been super detailed, and he's an awesome guy to coach, man. For real, he's an awesome guy. He's a great person, but he's a great guy to coach too, because he's a competitor.
How's Eric Murray doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. I said last time I was up here just about the type of communicator he is and what that brings into the room, just the whole unit defensively. I've been used to being around guys in that position. That position can always kind of be like a glue guy, because he's a great communicator. It's quarterback of the defense. And he's really done a great job with that. But he's played really physical, and he just really understands concepts and the concepts of the defense really, really well. And I think the guys like Perk has done a really good job getting him ready and acclimated in this new system. And he's done a ton extra, to get to where he is right now, which is cool.
10 years in the league for him. 10 years in the league for him. I mean, when you see a guy that can still compete at that level 10 years in, how impressive is that?
Yeah, I think that's just the type of person he is. Like, if he was in any line of work, he'd be a competitor. Like, he's the guy, like, he ain't missing a day of work. You know what I mean? Like, he don't get sick. He's one of those people, like, he's just going to, whatever job he's doing, he's going to go 1,000 miles an hour, and it's going to be done well. So you just get that vibe from him as a person. He's a very prideful guy, takes pride in his work. So that's guys at that, that many years in, doing it that way, that's more a credit to his personality than anything.
Mason Smith got a little testy, and then he makes the play where I guess he picked it off, and then he rolls it back to the defense offense. Just a guy like that, having that fire at practice, just how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think he's a competitor. He's a guy who wants to be a really good player, which is awesome. You want people like that. We're blessed with that. In my opinion, being here in the short time I've been here, there's a lot of guys who love to compete, and he wants to be a really good player. He was coached by Pete Jenkins in college, who I have so much respect for Coach Jenkins, and he's really a detailed guy. And the guys that are coaching him right now, Matt Edwards, Derek LeBlanc, those guys are doing a great job with him, just the detail of his preparation every day. He's coming to work to get work done.
Buster Brown, I know you talked about him last time, but that diving PBU he made in the red zone, just he's able to show that he can make plays like that. How's that been?
Yeah, that guy, that's who he's been every day I've been here, you know what I mean? And I can only go by what I see every day I'm out here. And he competes, he loves to compete. Same thing like Tyson, whether it's on the line of scrimmage, he's not afraid to challenge people. He'll challenge guys at the top of the route and try and play with technique, but whatever he's got to do to strain and make the play, he's been doing that, which is awesome. That's what we've been preaching, and he's been doing it every day.
What makes guys better in that vision zone? Some of the, like Montero's got some experience and he's really good in zone.
Sure, I think a lot of that too is just the detail in your technique, like the progression of your eyes. I know I say this in regard to, but I believe this about every position. Your eyes, feet, hands, violent finish. If my eyes are right, my feet are going to be right? My hands are going to buy me time, whether that's on the line of scrimmage, right? So if my eyes aren't great on the line of scrimmage, I could have poor footwork. It starts there, and that's really just the detail in your technique. Even an off man, like you're asking, or zone coverage, playing with vision on the quarterback, or if I'm playing three-step and I'm initial key in the QB and confirmation key into the receiver, being detailed with your eyes. And I think that just kind of gives people an air of confidence once you get good at, like anything else, you're going to get confidence from having success. And the more and more they do it, you see guys being more aggressive to attack the football.
The opposite side of that is Jerry Jones, who doesn't have a lot of experience in zone. Actually said he's never played it before, which is kind of hard to believe. Is that unique at this level?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but he's a guy that's been doing a lot extra too. And you see the guys like who are trying to put all the the extra work in. He's been doing a really good job that way too. So I know some of the stuff is new for these guys, but they've really done the work on their end. We got to continue to do our best to coach them and get them where we want them to go. But they're meeting us certainly more than halfway, doing extra.
I know you guys aren't impressed, but how impressed have you been with Josh and Trayvon, just their work ethic? Yeah, those guys are, they're great people, like first and foremost, because they love to work, they love to learn. They're guys that like to get coached, you know what I mean? Which for guys who have had that type of success, sometimes that's not always the case in pro ball, but those guys are really, really coachable. And they're out here working every day, you know what I mean? They ain't skipping a rep, missing a drill. Like, they're doing everything that we're asking them to do, and they're going full tilt. So been really impressed with the way they've been out here working every day.
How competitive is that safety room? You mentioned Eric, but you also have Dewey, you have Ransaw, you have Savage. Just how competitive has it been?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really competitive, and I think Antonio Johnson has done a great job too. Those guys are all, and they're real positive with each other in the room. If you're in there, they're kind of coaching each other up. Out on the field, they're coaching each other up. So, competition's a great thing. That's a great problem to have. And our guys are going about it the right way, trying to help each other through it, but they are competing every day. And we got some good guys back there, some smart guys back there, like you said, Dewey, Sav. Having Sav back's awesome too, because he's a sharp dude and has a bunch of ability. I think Caleb's done a really good job. I think he was coached really well in college also, because he's a sharp guy. He's got clean feet, moves really, really well, good athlete. And he's doing extra every day too, just get caught up, obviously coming in after those guys, but he's doing a good job for us.
You talked about your experience at multiple levels. Just how much appreciation do you have for those guys who are coached well at different levels?
Yeah, I mean, most, I won't say most of them, but some of the best coaches I've ever met in my life are in high school. the guy I worked for in high school, I think, is one of the greatest football coaches that ever lived. So I mean that sincerely. You know, he's an animal, and he's just a great football coach. You know, you go to practice every day, you're going to get better. So, like, you know, when I think of great coaching and guys who've had an effect on me, Coach Toll, you know, my father's a high school coach, my brothers are. Those guys basically shape the way I coach, the way I think, and I have an appreciation. You can usually tell the guys that come from a program where they were coached hard, because the reality is the only way to get better is to be honest. You know what I mean? Like in anything, nothing gets better without honesty. So if they've been around guys who have a good foundation of knowledge that can help them and are going to be honest with them, then, you know, they never get. See, I think sometimes guys confuse being coached and being evaluated, you know, and when a guy can take the coaching, it's a big help to him. And guys who have been in that environment usually thrive, you know, to continue to be coached.
All right. Thanks.